about this time.
I'm gonna fight your fucking ass.
You don't got, you're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
There's a little snake in the grass.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
No fucking Jesus, people.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I'm back.
Who the fuck is that guy? Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
I would like to introduce.
Ni hao wo do chongo fancy, wushu fancy. Welcome to the MMA for Money Show, episode 86. Like the hands of a Rolex watch, you just don't stop. I am your host, Mike Copenhaver, also known as Real Mike. You can follow me on Don't Cope Just Win on Twitter. Also, I'm joined by my producer of the show and co-host, T. Welcome, T.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Glad to be here again. Had a good weekend.
Yeah, we're stoked to be here to talk about the domination from the UFC and the MMA for Money team in general, with prime time hitting the NASCAR race on Saturday, and then closely coming on Sunday, we got second and third, which was a heartbreaker, but it is what it is. But shout out to prime time for hitting that NASCAR race on Saturday for the premium subscribers. So like I always say, go to MMAforMoney.com and get yourself a NASCAR package, because I promise you, it'll pay for each and every holiday of the year. And so with that said, I just want to shout out to our sponsors. The first sponsor I'd like to shout out is MELIN brand hats, Melon brand. It's a dope line of luxury hats that's just unlike any other kind, whether it's the material they use or the little intricacies about the whole thing. There's just so many cool little details. So go get yourself a dope luxury hat. And then secondly, I'd like to shout out the newest member of the sponsorship. It's Fokai Stuff, FOKAI stuff.com. It's the Guamanian gear. It's the best fight gear that there is out of Guam, and just gear, period. I'm a huge fan, have been ever since, and that's one of their slogans. My brother used to sport them back in the day over in San Diego, Undisputed. Herman Tirado, sponsored by him down there, is also a Guamanian, so shout out to him as always, who runs the Game Bread Dispute training facility. Sorry for the little stutter. And last but not least, happy 420 to all those out there. My third sponsor is Split Seeds Amsterdam, and today's a perfect day to shout them out because it's a 420, so they're having a 20% off sale across their entire site. So if you use the promo code 4:20, you can get 20% off all your genetics. So go give them a shout out. And so with that said, I'd like to just thank each and every one of you for being here, all you live that are listening, the 60 plus of you, Jamie Moose 1032, Jackie Girl, every single one of you is supporting. 61 of you live already here. We're going to talk a little bit about past action from last weekend. Jake Paul took on, Ben Askren, and it was, like I said, if you go back many shows ago when we discussed it, I said, Ben Askren's pillow soft. He ain't that guy, man. I mean, he's suspect, and there's no way I'm going to trust him. And sure as shit, man, it was just it looked like a fixed fight, but I don't know, man. You tell me that this guy that T's going to pull up here, with this little, you look at him. That's Jake Paul. If you're watching video, that's him right there playing Tigger. It looks like my girl doesn't even look that skinny, bro. I don't even know how he got into that suit. So I cannot believe that he did that, but I knew that Ben Askren was in trouble. So what do you think about that, T?
Man, that fight had to be fixed, dude. I'm telling you, I've seen Ben Askren get his face beat into the UFC mat by Robbie Lawler and get right back up. And then I think he ended up choking him out or something that fight. So there's no way with a boxing gloves on, padded gloves, that unless Askren just completely fell off the face of the earth. But that first round, that's just too fishy for me. But it is what it is.
Yeah, man, he looked like he just sat there with his head just leaning into it, and so it is what it is, man. I told you the size advantage was going to be a real thing. So Ben Askren was not the guy to save us, and so I don't know how he represented MMA, but somehow he got tagged that, and we took an L last weekend. But what we didn't take an L with was in the UFC 261 Whitaker versus Gastelum. There were some decent fights on the card. It wasn't the best card overall, but it definitely was. It was worth watching. The first one on the card was Anthony Burchak. He took on Tony Gravely, and Tony Gravely, made quick work of my boy Anthony Burchak. We got a round 2 TKO, and it could have been stopped even earlier. It was just a bad matchup overall. And if you went to the podcast last week, I were fans of Anthony Burchak, so I didn't want to say anything negative, but I kind of knew it was a bad matchup for him, and then Tony Gravely was going to end up just dominating. So congrats to Tony Gravely for the round 2 TKO. And next up on the card, there was Austin Hubbard versus Dakota Bush. He got a decision victory. Then we had Gerald Marshall, GM3. Like I told you, please go back and listen to what I said. Bartosz Fabinski is not about that life. Once a tapper, always a tapper. He had a past history.
And Mayor's Card money line, so it was awesome. And you put me on that too, so shout out to you on that. Appreciate it. I got some money on that one.
No worries. And so the last one, so let's see, what do we have up? So the next up was really fishy. Say what you say, Jessica Penne somehow won a decision victory versus Lupe Godinez. Please go watch the fight. Jessica Penne got thrown around like a linguine noodle. I mean, I don't know how they didn't score those throws to the ground as damage compared to a little bit of back riding time that Jessica Penne had on Lupe. It was super, super fishy. I can't believe that after like 3-4 years off that Jessica Penne even got the decision victory. But it's just really bad judging in this sport, man. They really need to get a hold on it. Like these judges they knew nothing about MMA, and it's just really, really starting to hurt the sport. And then every fight we're having shitty decisions. Some guys, there's two that have 29-28 scorecards, and the other guy's literally picking his nose while not watching the fight. He's got a 30-27 for one guy. How does two guys have a 29-28 and the other guy's got a 30-27? It makes no sense. It's just terrible, the judging nowadays. But shout out to Ryan Richardson in the chat, one of our sponsors for Kansas City. Kick Your Bass on Twitter, one of the best pro fishermen there is over in Kansas City. So appreciate you always supporting. Marble Man, Primetime, Mr. Primetime, the OG Papa Primetime is in the house. So shout out to him. Mel B from Australia, Vanita Brielin. Pleasure to have you in the house. Metal Toffen, sorry if I said that wrong. It's a tough name, but either way, I appreciate each and one of you live. There's 80 of you. So, with this, what did you think about that, T? Did you see this fight?
Yeah, I watched it. I thought Godinez got the better of her. I feel like she did more damage. Panay just like spotted all over around her, didn't really do too much. But it is what it is. It wasn't that great of a fight. Godinez kind of dropped the ball, so she should have performed better in my opinion, but I still think she won. But it is what it is. You could give it to Panay if you want, whatever.
Yeah, we didn't care too much because we didn't have a bet on it, and so it didn't hurt us at all. But next up, we did have a bet on was Alexander King Kong Romanov. He took on Juan Espino, and man, this fight lived up to the type for about 2 rounds. And then in the 3rd round, Juan Espino couldn't handle his arsenal and threw a knee to my boy's balls and ended up kind of just ruining the fight. But if you ask me, personally, I don't give a damn. We cash bets. So the point is that we got +1 units on Alexander Romanov for the MMAforMoney show. So I'll take that money anytime. But if you ask the real me, the real Mike, if that fight was legit or not, I'm going to say it was iffy, bro, because the fact is that I don't like anyone that quits in the 3rd round. I don't like anyone that takes the short way out. But you get hit in the balls by a big heavyweight and tell me how your nuts feel and if you want to continue on. So it's easy to say that from the couch and over here behind the computer. But I personally know that getting kneed in the balls by like a little kid doesn't feel good.
You got to think, too, you know how tired they were going into that 3rd round, and then you get kneed in your balls. So, I mean, it sucks he didn't get back up, but I kind of, if it was a hard knee, it looked like it was on the money. I kind of get it, especially being as tired as they are, being as big as they are. Him not being able to get up, the groin area, all that,
Yeah, so
but it sucks.
But he had a really good Alexander Romanov for being a big guy. He was displaying a really good get-up game when he did get taken down by Espino. Don't get me wrong, Alexander Romanov took Espino down first and kind of controlled the first half of the fight, literally the first round and a half. But Espino showed the savage he is with the Latin blood and came through and just showed mad heart. But that fight was kind of tied going into the 3rd. We didn't get to see a 3rd round, but I guess the judges, they didn't like the fact that he low blowed him. So it is what it is. Control your weapons at all times, my friends. So, but next up on the card, we had our other bet was Luis Pena won a 3-round decision versus Alexander Munoz. Man, this fight was a really, really close fight, man. I would have liked it to have been more clear, but Luis Pena he's lucky, and so if they would have said Alexander Munoz won the fight, I wouldn't have cried too hard, especially getting lucky earlier with Alexander Romanov. The luck definitely helped. So, but with this one, it was either way on this fight, and Luis Pena got a decision victory, cashed 1 unit for the MMA for Money show. So that was the both bets for the night cash for the MMA for Money team. So 2 units, so $200 for our team and all the subscribers. So shout out to you guys and the listeners who cashed those bets. What do you think about that fight, T?
I'll take the win, but I'm kind of disappointed in Pena. I feel like Munoz could have got the decision there on that one. But they gave it to Pena, and I loved it. He took it over late. That's how he wanted, taking it over late. But I feel like he just underperforms. He plays around too much, man. I might be fading him next fight, especially if he fights somebody solid. I'm probably gonna fade him. It's just too much playing around. It's kind of like a Holland, the same kind of deal almost. Like he's sitting there and I feel like he could kill his opponent, and he just plays around.
Yeah, we've gotten into this on the last podcast. I'm tired of these soft pro fighters, man. These guys are not going in there as gladiators anymore, trying to kill people. I know that sounds harsh. I know that sounds savage, but dude, this is the UFC. When I go to the Coliseum and the Gladiator in Rome, I want to see people murking each other, okay? I want to see you elbowing each other in the face till no one's there. Some of these guys are going in there just to get a paycheck and get through 3 rounds, and it's just sickening, and you could see it in them. But Luis Pena definitely had many times where he could have thrown combos, failed to do it. Could have thrown knees, failed to do it. So I'm definitely going to be fading him on the next fight. There's just no reason not to. He showed me nothing other than the fact that he just likes to play games, and so it's gonna come back to haunt him soon down the road, especially versus a bigger, stronger wrestler than Alex Munoz was. But shout out to Primetime himself, MMA for Money in the house. Appreciate you being here, brother, as always. And Johnny Be Good, appreciate you here as well. So either way, that was the second bet cash for the MMA for Money show. Next up on the card was Tracy Cortez won a 3-round decision versus Justine Kish. And it was nothing else much to say than Tracy Cortez pretty much just dominated the whole fight, every aspect of it, and then won a decision. So the next up on the card was Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Jacob Malkoun. This was an interesting bout. I said that the negative 300 price tag was really, really steep on Razak Al Hassan. I mean, I like the guy, super explosive, but definitely not going to lay my money on it. And I said last week it seemed sketchy. Jacob Malkoun absolutely dominated this fight. For his first fight in the UFC, I cannot believe how well-rounded he was, especially his jiu-jitsu game is super, super sick and slick. So shout out to Jacob Malkoun for that victory and for taking on a tough guy like Al Hassan, because that's no joke. A lot of people wouldn't want to go and take that task on, and he did. So the second to last, the co-main event of the evening was Andrei Arlovsky versus Chase Sherman. And Andrei the Pitbull Arlovsky won a close decision versus Chase Sherman. I mean, I really thought that Chase Sherman won the fight. I'm going to be happy because I picked Arlovsky to win, and it continued on a pretty hot streak for the night for us. And so it's Andrei Arlovsky, won a decision, and that is what it is. You have anything to say about that one, T?
I feel like it was close. I feel like Arlovsky won it, man. I feel like he beat him up. He won it in the 3rd round, and going into that one, it was kind of a toss-up. I feel like Sherman got him round 1, and then Arlovsky just took it over the last 2, edged him out. But it was a close fight. It went the way I thought it would go. It is what it is.
No worries. Well, yeah, like I said, the main event of the evening was our boy Robert Bobby Knuckles Whitaker. He took on Kelvin Gastelum in a 5-round main event, and he needed all 5 rounds to get that decision victory. I thought that he should have possibly had the TKO KO at some point. He was just far superior in every aspect of the standing game, and he's just
like an assassin, just ran through him. Gastelum hit him, but you saw it was like a stand-up clinic by Whitaker. So, and I figured that's how it would go.
Yeah,
good fight though.
With that said, with the end of the night, the MMA for Money team, we went 2-0, cashed both bets, so plus 2 units, plus $200 for the team and for the subscribers and for all you viewers. So I hope some of you guys cash those. And next we have for the UFC this coming weekend. It's an absolute treat as always when you get two brave men like these, two gladiators, two just unreal mixed martial artists like Kamar Usman and George Masvidal. UFC 261 features Usman versus Masvidal 2. Man, they already fought one time, and that first time that they fought, Usman kind of just showed his superior wrestling, and that's something that's an Achilles heel for George Gamebred. It has been even going back to him training with Colby Covington. So I really don't know, as much as I love me some George Gamebred Masvidal, I don't know exactly what he's going to do. He could train. He called in a bunch of great wrestlers, and he's training with amazing ones at that. But in such a short time, you can't put in that many years experience that Kamar Usman has, or the gas tank. So I mean, I'm going to be rooting George Masvidal on, but with Usman dominating the first fight, it's the second fight's going to be very interesting. But at least this time, Masvidal has a full camp, so we'll give him the credit on the short notice fight last time, and so this time I expect a little bit better. But first fight of the night we have on the early prelims is Ariane Carnalasi, 12-2. -165 versus Na Liang, 15-4 on the +135 comeback. This is going to be very interesting, man. Na Liang is the first fighter, male or female, out of the UFC PI Performance Institute over in China. So I'm very, very curious to see her in the UFC, because I don't feel like they're putting that much time and training into this female if she's not the real deal. She's coming off of four wins. She's 24 years old. She's won her last 3 fights by stoppage, 2 of them by armbar, the third to last by a TKO KO. But she does have a padded record. And padded record, if you don't know, on the MMA for Money show, is when your opponent's records look like absolute garbage. Her last opponent was 0-0. Yeah, crickets. The next one was 2-0. Yeah, that's weak. And the other one was 2-2. Yeah, that's not a good record. So I'm gonna say that I like her though. She's 5'9", 67.3-inch reach. She's gonna have the size advantage big time versus Carnalasi, who's I believe 5'1", 5'2", 28 years old. She'll have the size advantage and the reach and everything on Carnalasi, but Carnalasi has the experience factor in the sense. She last fought Angela Hill, and that was her UFC debut, and she lost the doctor stoppage in round 3. So that's pretty respectable in the sense of it was a cut. It wasn't like she got TKO KO'd to death from Angela Hill, but Angela Hill does throw some vicious elbows, and you can get caught with one of those. So the cut is understandable. Before that, she's coming off of just a bunch of win streak, but we'll only go over the last 3. Last 3 of Carnalasi, it was Caitlin Suoza, was 8-1. So that she beat her with a body kick in round 3. So that's at least a decent opponent. The one before that was 6-3, and that's when it gets suspect. And then it's 2-1. So we have 2 very suspect chicks going in there to fight each other. The size advantage is going to go to the Chinese fighter, the 13th century warrior, Nai Liang. And I think that I really like her. I think she's going to end up pulling off this victory here. I think that she is using the PI Performance Institute to her fullest. For the first time ever, she doesn't have to worry about going home to make a meal. Every meal is prepared for her at the UFC PI. So with that said, I don't know if you as a professional, just in life, if someone was making and preparing my meals every night, that would cut a lot of time off my night. And so that would save me a lot of stress. And so I think that's really going to show with Na Liang, even though she has the padded record. I was almost about to pick her as a bet, but it's a little too low class women's MMA. I think that Na Liang wins. She's an underdog here. So if you do like her, she can cash that bet. You have anything to say about that fight, T?
Yeah, when I looked through Na Lang, everybody that she fought that was tough, it looked like she lost to. So I couldn't pull up too much about Carnalasi either. So I'm probably just stay away from this fight. I don't trust either one. I'm just gonna see how this fight goes. But next up on the card after that, we've got Jeffrey Molina versus Ariel Keelang. It's a tough matchup here too. Both fighters are pretty evenly matched. They're both making their UFC debuts as well. Molina's the younger fighter, and he's got a bit more upside in my opinion. So Me personally, I'd probably lean Molina. What you think about this one, Mike?
Jesus. Thank you, Prime. So sorry guys, I was on mute and talking like a dummy. This fight's gonna be super interesting. Jeffrey Molina versus Quailing Aori. Jeffrey Molina comes out of a very interesting camp called Glory MMA, which is the fighting coaches James Krause, and also has other fighters like Grant Dawson, Tim Elliott, and many other great MMA fighters. So I really like Jeffrey Molina. I think that he's quite the prospect. He's been talked about by everyone. Everyone's known of him for a while. It doesn't matter what podcast you listen to or what interview. They've been talking about Jeffrey Molina. But Quailing Aori is no joke. He's 18-6. He's coming out of China. So shout out to the Chinese 13th century warriors. As I said, he's 27 years old. He's coming off of three wins, or more than 3 wins, but I'll go over the last 3. The last one he won by TKO KO in round 2, and it was versus a guy who was 5-1. So at least the guy was somewhat decent. The other guy before that, he won a decision. The guy was 5-3, and before that, he won a guy that was 4-4. So that's when it gets kind of suspect. But he's going to have the size advantage on. I think he's going to have the size advantage a little bit. Hold on 1 second. Jeffrey Molina, 5'7". Yeah, he's just gonna have an inch of reach advantage. No, wrong fight. So either way, he's gonna I-Link Quaiori. He's really, really heavy-handed. He stands on his lead leg though, so he can be chopped down by kicks or taken down easily. So that's my worry with him. I just don't know if he could be trusted in that sense. So, but take with as you do. Next up on the card, we have Yang Zhu, who's 13-3. He was -250 versus Kazula Vargas, who's 11-4. Plus 200 at the time of writing this. Rong Zhu coming out of China, another great fighter. I just think that just a lot of these guys are just amazing, man. His striking is just really good, man. They're tough dudes. He's coming off 10 wins in a row. He's 5'11". He's 72-inch reach, and he's only 21 years old. He's going to be fighting Rodrigo Vargas, who's 11-4, and he's 35 years old. He's 5'8" and a 71-inch reach. This is a weird one, man. I don't see why the UFC would be showcasing the Asian fighter here versus the 35-year-old if they wanted him to lose. So I'm thinking that this is a spot for Zhu Rong to come here and showcase his skills. I think that the money line was just a little too steep. That's why I didn't fire. No, he's not. He's an underdog. So either way, he is the favorite. Yeah, he was a little too steep. So Zhu Rong, I couldn't fire on it, but I really do like him. I think he's going to win that fight. I think he's younger, stronger, has better just an all-around game. And so what do you think about that one, T?
Yeah, Zhu hasn't faced much my competition. He's unproven, but he's the up-and-comer, so I'm right with you. Vargas, his record's unimpressive. He doesn't get finished often. So I was looking at the distance here that was plus 155. Fight goes the distance, or looking at maybe Zhu by decision. But after that one, we've got Dana Betgaral versus Kevin Navdad. Batgarral, he's finished all his wins. Navdad formerly fought in the IFA. He's had decent competition. It's a close fight. I'd go with the dog if I was going to bet it here. If you're looking to take Batgarral, I'd probably take it in ITD. What you think about this one, Mike?
Yeah, this is gonna be a really good fight. It's gonna be Kevin Navdad, who's 9-2. He's 28 years old. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. He's 5'6" with a 70-inch reach. He's coming off an L to Miles John though, which was a vicious uppercut in round 3 that sent him down to the floor and kissed his night goodbye. So that's really sketchy to me. It wasn't that long ago. It was only 6 months ago or less. It was in October. So I don't trust his chin versus a guy like Dana Batgarral. I think that Dana's 8-2. He's super strong, man. I mean, if you look at his body, bro, he's just built like a little brick. 31 years old, 5'7", 70-inch reach. He's on a 1-fight win streak. He's coming out of Jackson and Wink MMA over in New Mexico. So a shout out to Jackson and Wink. He's coming off of, like I said, a wins versus Guido Canetti, who was a good fighter. He was a left hook in round 1 that sent him to the ground. Before that, he lost one fight, a unanimous decision. And then before that, he won a rear naked choke versus a guy with basically no record. So we're seeing a lot of these Asian dudes that don't have a very strong record. And so that's where it's just hard to place a bet on someone like that. But I think that Dana Baggarel is going to finish him by TKO KO. Almost all of his fights, I believe, are by stoppage. And so I believe that Dana is going to be the one to take it here. So next up on the card, we have, this is you, huh? All right.
Yeah, we got. I'll get it. It's Tristan Conley versus Patrick Sabatini. Conley should be motivated in this fight. He's fighting off a long layoff. He had neck surgery, so he's got a good shot as a dog. I'm leaning Sabatini, but I don't want to lay the juice, so I'm most likely going to pass because I feel like Conley could sneak up and do something here. But what you think about it, Mike?
Yeah, this is interesting. Connolly's actually going down in weight class after a car accident. He's just found himself just a little bit lower on weight and figured he'd test the waters down in the 145 after fighting in 155. So the only thing for him here is that he's going to have is, I believe, the size advantage. Other than that, I don't like hearing about anyone having a neck injury or any type of car accident. I've been in a motorcycle accident myself, and I know that just your body changes after a little bit of nerve damage, or you sustain an injury to your spine or your body in general. So as much as he wants to tell me in interviews that he's fine and dandy and everything went smooth, I'm going to have him prove that to me. So I think Sabatini is the rightful favorite here. The negative 230, though, yeah, that's steep. If you do like a dog here, Connolly can win this fight. He certainly will be the bigger man, in my opinion. So for plus 185 versus the negative 230 Patrick Sabatini, I think that there's a path for Connolly. But I just don't like coming off of the car crash, then dropping down, weight classes for an experimental debut. I'm just not sure quite what we're going to get, but the 145-pound Sabatini has been in the 145-pound featherweight division, and he's going to, what you're going to get from him in that sense. So, but negative 230 is a little bit steep, in my opinion. All right, well, next on the card is our first bet of the night. It's going to be Carl Roberson, who's 9-3, plus 105 versus Brendan Allen, 15-4 at the negative 135 comeback. I mean, man, I'm a big fan of Brendan Allen. He's young, he's strong, he has a really, really good jiu-jitsu game. I believe he's a black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu now, and I just love his sub game. He's super, super tough. He's, he took an L to Sean Strickland, which, Sean Strickland is a tough dude. He really didn't even want to take that fight because he took an Ian Heinisch fight before that, got canceled, and then had to change plans, and then really mentally was checked out and wanted to go back to his family after training for so long. But this is the UFC, and you have to be called on at any time. So Sean Strickland was about that night and put his lights out. But the point is that I do really like Brendan Allen. He's 6'2", he's got a 75-inch reach, and he's only 25 years old, man. Carl Roberson, he's only 9-3. He's 30 years old. He's 6'1", and he got a 74-inch reach. So he's going to have the size disadvantage versus Brendan Allen. And one of my favorite things ever, like last week I told you, Fabinski is a tap-a-roo. Might as well get out those tap dancing shoes because this guy's got the same problem. Roberson loves to tap. He's tapped versus Marvin Vettori, rear naked choke, round 1. He has tapped versus Glover Teixeira, round 1. He has tapped versus Cesar Ferreira, round 1. So you know what I'm getting at? My boy, Brendan Allen's going to dominate him in round 1. Now, and it could be round 1, but it possibly could be. I'm going to be betting Brendan Allen here. I'm going to be putting 1 unit down on the money line at the negative 135 money line. And I'm also going to be putting a half unit flick on the submission by Brendan Allen. I believe it's plus 200 right now, right, T?
Yep, plus 200.
At the plus 200, I think it's an absolute gift for a guy that's shown himself to be a tapper. So I'm going to be rolling with the younger, stronger, better at jiu-jitsu guy who doesn't tapperoo. So let's go, Brendan Allen. What do you think about that one, T?
Yeah, I like the pick here. Allen, he's got some really impressive wins. Roberson's he's a solid fighter with some upside, but I trust Allen to get it done here. And I think they got some beef between camps. Roberson used to be in his camp, and he got kicked out or he left, and now they throwing Brandon Allen at Roberson. But I like Allen here, so I'm right with you. I'll be laying that and hoping he gets the sub along with the money line. After this fight, we've got Dwight Grant versus Stefan Sekulik, the white Grant. He's coming out of Alliance Camp. He trains with Cruz and Stevens. Mike loves Cruz, so Sekulik solid. He's a solid fighter, and he's younger. Grant's got more experience, but the price is too high. I'd probably go Grant decision in this fight. What you think about it, man?
Oh man, Dwight Grant, 10-3, 265 on his money line, and versus Stefan Stekulik, who's 12-3 plus 210. Yeah, Dwight comes out of the infamous Alliance MMA down in San Diego by the famous coach Eric Del Fiero. So shout out to Eric and all the boys down there. And so yeah, he does. He's got a bunch of good trainings partners. Does the Dwight Grant. And so with that, he's got a lot of experience coming with those coaches and whatnot. But I mean, don't get it twisted. This isn't like an easy lock of the night. Stefan Stekulik is he's coming off a loss. It's a decision, so it's not like he got dominated. But Ramazan Emeev, who was absolutely amazing, dominated him in a unanimous decision. So you can't even really hate on him for that loss. And then before that, he won 2 in a row on a guillotine choke, round 1, round 2. Dwight Grant is the type of dude to me who could possibly tap. I'm not saying he's going to, but this is going to be one of those weird ones. I'm gonna go with Dwight Grant. Obviously, he's the favorite, and it's no joke. It's like, ooh, no kidding, real Mike. But I think that Stefan could pull off a sub if he gets it deep. He looks like he loves that guillotine choke, and so if he wants to be about that life, he can get that in and get that done. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets off their game plan first. But next up on the fight is going to be super, super interesting. It's Alex Oliveira, who's 12-22-9 plus 135 on his money line versus Randy Rude Boy Brown, 12-4, negative 165 on the comeback. So either way, the odd, if for those of you who don't know the odds, negative 165 means you got to throw $165 to make 100 on Randy Rude Boy Brown, and the odds for Alex Oliveira is plus 135. You got about $100 to win 135. So for those of you who aren't familiar with betting, that makes it a little bit more simple on why I'm spouting off those numbers. But Alex Oliveira was a former bullfighter, super athletic dude who kind of just does use his athleticism and his toughness to get this far. Randy Brown is really athletic and has trained more martial arts than Alex Oliveira has, in my opinion. He's got the higher ceiling. I believe Alex Oliveira has peaked. And so I really believe this is a spot where Randy Rude Boy Brown can actually dominate Alex Oliveira. Alex Oliveira loves to come and smash like a gladiator, like I do like to see. So you could possibly be fireworks here, and Randy Rude Boy Brown could get a finish. So if you like him, you could bet on his money line or him by inside the distance possibly, because these two boys are going to come to fight. What do you say about these two, T?
Yeah, Brown's in his prime. He's a younger, taller fighter. Olivier, he's got more experience, but he's super inconsistent, man. You'll never know if he's going to show up or not. So I lean Randy Brown here. I'm probably going to bet him a personal bet. Depends on how the juice looks when we get to Saturday. But we'll see. I like Randy Brown here too.
Nice. Well, with that said, that's all the prelims for the card. And so we can finally get into the main card of the evening. We have Anthony Lionheart Smith, 34-16, plus 160 on his betting line versus Jimmy Crute, 12-1, negative 200 on his line. So this is going to be super interesting. Anthony Smith is no joke, man. I mean, I think because he's finished him one by punches, Modestas Bukauskas. It was 11-2, and then McCall Olazechek. He won by Kimura in round 1. So it's showing a diverse game. But then before that, he lost to Misha Serkinov by Peruvian necktie in round 1. So when he faced his toughest competition, he got submitted in round 1. So I can't trust Jimmy Crute versus a guy like Lionheart Smith. So I'm going to pick Lionheart Smith here to win. I think that at the plus money, it's an absolute gift. I have a rule here on the MMA4Money show that I like to bet the vet versus the newcomer. And I don't mean the vet like Diego Sanchez versus someone that you know is going to beat him to hell, but a vet as in someone who's got way more experience and has still got some juice in this game. And I think the juice in this game that Anthony Smith has is a jiu-jitsu realm. And I think that he could possibly get the back of Jimmy Smith or get him in a sub. But I really do. I like Jimmy Crute, and I think he could pound Anthony Smith's teeth out. But like I said, the money line's just not warranted. I think it's more of a pick 'em, but we'll see on Saturday. What do you think about this one, T?
Yeah, I agree that the line's off. Crute, he finishes his fights though, so I like that. I don't know if he could finish Anthony Smith. I mean, he might. We'll see. He won his last fight. Smith did. He needed that win big time. But, I mean, we saw him get pounded before that, like bad. So, lost to Rakic too. So he's got a lot of miles on him. I got to go Crute here. I would leave it alone, but I agree that the line's off in this one for sure. But after that, we've got Uriah Hall versus Chris Weidman. Weidman's still fighting. I can't believe it. I didn't even know he was still in the UFC, to be honest. So when I saw it, I was like, I'm going Hall here. I'm not going to bet it. I'm just going to watch it. I might take it live once I see what Weidman's got when the fight starts. But what you think about this one, man?
Yeah, this is going to be super interesting. Uriah Hall, 17-9, -110 on the betting line, -110 on the betting line for Chris Weidman, who's 15-5. Chris Weidman is obviously a legend. He's been in the sport for a long time, but dude, he's over the hill and gone. I mean, his best thing is his jiu-jitsu once again. So his only path to victory here is by submission, in my opinion. So if you do like Chris Weidman, I believe that he could possibly win by submission only, but Uriah Hall's got power. He's younger. He's stronger. He's shown you how explosive he is. And I think that if Chris Weidman stands flat-footed or shoots in lazily, he'll catch a knee to his face or a spinning back kick to his body or his solar plex or his chin. Who knows? But I think that Chris Weidman's going to end up on his back like a gladiator should be, and Uriah Hall's going to end up dominating his ass with the TKO KO finish and standing over him like a real gladiator does. So with that said, the next on the card is the first title shot of the night. We have my lady, if I didn't have a lady, Valentina Shevchenko, 19-3, who's -500 versus Jessica Andrade, 21-8, plus 350. I don't know who to get in first, but I'll dig into Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade, super, super explosive, strong. She's like a little Hulk, Tasmanian devil, pit bull with a big right hand. But she only has a right hand. That's all she has is a big, big right hand. So she has a big takedown game. But her body is super muscular, and she gets gassed. And that gas ends up with lactic acid in your muscles, and you end up being able not to perform as well. And with a girl like Valentina, who's going to have 5 rounds to literally circle and dance around that ass, I just don't know what Jessica Andrade is going to do to her. She's going to have about 1 round, maybe 2, of explosiveness, but then she's going to fade away like a dim light bulb from the 1918s or 1930s, wherever it was made. The point is that I believe that Valentina Shevchenko should win here. Obviously, why there's a -500 price tag on her. But, it's going to be super exciting. I hope that Valentina can implement her game plan and circle away from the power Andrade. But it's going to be, the first round is going to be fun as shit. So make sure you tune in for that ladies fight. It'll be super, super exciting. What do you think about that one, T?
Yeah, Andrade's got that right hand. That's basically her only path to victory. I don't think she's got a shot. Valentina ain't going to lose to her. She's too good. She's too technical. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think she's got a chance in hell, to be honest. I think Valentina's just going to run through her and just show that she's the only person that can beat her is Nunez.
Yeah, pretty much. She's not losing. Valentina for life, baby. So with that said, we're all Team Valentina here.
Yep. All right. Well, next up on the card, we got Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas for the title. Zhang, she'll be ready to roll. Should be an entertaining fight, but I think Zhang's got too much of an edge in the power department and the stand-up here. I think she's going to win. Rose, I mean, she's tough, though. You can't ever count her out. Should be a pretty entertaining fight where they go back and forth, but I'm leaning Zhang here. What you think, man?
Shout out to Ryan Richardson, who says, talk nice about my girl Rose. Man. I don't know about that. The point is that Weili Zhang, she's an absolute monster, the champion. She has vicious, vicious leg kicks, kicks in general. I really, really like her. Sweet girl like Rose. I think she can knock her down on her off her lead leg so easily. But she does have a really good jiu-jitsu game, so we got to look out for that. I don't want to discredit Thug Rose. She's 9-4. She's faced some of the best in the world, like Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who she's won 2 times. She's faced Andrade, who's a little monster. So, I mean, she's faced a bunch of really good athletes, but I don't think that this is it this is the spot for Rose to cash. I really believe that Weili Zhang is the real deal, and she's going to end up keeping her belt that night, and China's going to keep rolling with their champion because she is an absolute specimen. And so I'm just a big fan. So Weili Zhang there, I'm rolling with her by a devastation and domination, whether it's TKO, KO, or decision. But I think the decision at a plus 160 is a gift. So if you like her, plus 160 on the decision prop is a very, very good money spot to get a negative 200 favorite champion at that. So. All right. Last but not least on the card, we have the main event of the night. Kamaru Usman, 18-1, negative 361 on the money line versus George Masvidal, 35-14, plus 285 on the comeback for my boy George Gamebred. Well, I've been a George Gamebred fan ever since, man. I've got his Easy Money Tour shirt. I've supported him since the very beginning. I'm a huge fan. My brother's old teammate and roommate, Toby Imada, was the one who landed the inverted triangle on him standing. So I know a lot about him, and I have for a long time. And so I just really respect George Masvidal a lot. I think he's the real deal when it comes to fighting. But when it comes to MMA and it comes to like an overall game plan and smarts and then the wrestling of Kamaru Usman, that Usman wrestling is no joke, man. And if you've ever been on the mats, jiu-jitsu wise or wrestling wise, when someone has it on you, they have it on you. It's not coming from Masvidal come in this weekend and put on a performance. But with that said, Usman, he picked it. He knew that it was going to make him some money. It was a big name on George Gamebred, and he feeds his family throughout the year. So shout out to him for taking it and lining that up. But I just think that Kamaru Usman wrestling is going to be too much. The gas tank decision, just like he did last time. What do you say about that, T?
Yeah, I'm wondering what kind of tricks Masvidal is going to pull out here. He's fought him again. I mean, he's fought him once already, so this is a rematch. And Masvidal is a crafty dude, so he's got to be thinking. He's got to be thinking something like, I'm gonna do this time. That. So I'm interested to see how the fight will go. I think he's gonna get it. Just logically, Usman's a beast. So if Masvidal can't KO him, Usman's gonna get the decision, or he'll put him down in the mat and beat his ass or something like that. It's probably what's gonna happen. But I'm definitely want to watch this fight just to see what Masvidal comes with, because I like the guy too. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, certainly. He's super exciting, and both these guys are going to want to see it. But I mean, that's his game. He's got to do it as a champ. GSP did it too when he went on his title run. He had to, he went from finishing to decisions, and it's because you're facing just world class monsters, and it's just crazy. But it's going to be super exciting main event. Make sure to tune in. There will be some really, really good fights. With that said, our bets for the night, we're going to have Brendan Allen at the money line for 1 unit at the negative 135 money line, and we'll have half a unit, 0.5 units on the submission prop at plus 200. That will be our 2 bets for the card. So I wish you guys all the best of your degenerate fun. And if you guys also tune in to us, we like to talk about crypto and stock advice. We're not going to get too deep in tonight, but cryptocurrency is a little bit on sale right now, in my opinion. So
you can buy this dip. Make sure you buy this dip. If you're buying crypto, you should have been buying over the weekend. But
it's still
get it.
Still, I mean, Bitcoin's still down 10K from its high, so you guys are still getting a percentage down, even if you entered in Bitcoin. But right now, Chainlink is a data. They're going to be used for data, and it's going to be super huge in the future. So
Chainlink under $40 is pretty much a gift to you guys. So buy it.
And we're not professional traders, and our opinion is our opinion, and we just we have just made a lot of money off crypto, so just take that for what it is, as this is a betting and degenerate fun channel. I don't need anyone crying to me a river about why they didn't make enough money in about 3 weeks. But Chainlink and Link is the coin to get right now. LINK, Link. I promise you'll thank me in the future. Thank the MMA for Money team. Make sure you go to MMAforMoney.com, get yourself a NASCAR package or a premium subscription package for all sports. Primetime MMA for Money himself is the absolute man. Like I said, cashed on NASCAR on Saturday, and on Sunday we were so damn close. We got second and third, but we should have had first if it wasn't for the restart, and we had a long track race car instead of the short track. So we just, fate wasn't with us for the double back-to-back days. But make sure you go to MMAforMoney.com, get yourself a package, and support the team. But with that said, I can't thank all of you tuning in, the 133 of you live who supported. I appreciate all the awards that you've given me. Thank you, Lynn, for the Appreciate Award. I appreciate each and every one of you support the MMA for Money show and make it what it is. We really, really can't thank you enough. And so shout out to, once again, all the Haps friends. Don't forget to subscribe to us on your platform of choice, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, RSS feeds. And make sure to make yourself a Haps profile because it's the future. And with that said, guys, let's roll.